Hey guys, welcome back. Thank you so much to everyone who clicked onto this video. Thank you to everyone who left a like on all my videos. Thank you to everyone who left a comment on any of my videos. Thank you so much to everyone who subscribed to my channel. I appreciate you guys so very much, and may God bless you. And to everyone who hasn't subscribed yet, what are you guys waiting for? What are you doing? Please go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you do like it here. So in today's video, I'm going to be going over how my week 8 went. So we are going to go straight into the charts, and then I'm going to show you what happened, how my week went in the markets, and then I'm going to come back and do a commentary. So let's go back straight into the charts, and then we can have a look. Into the charts, let's get into the charts for this week. So basically we're just gonna go through the calendar quickly. Monday, it was a bank holiday during London. Tuesday we had a lot of news, but it wasn't a lot of red news. Wednesday we had FOMOC and a lot of other red news. Thursday we had the refinancing rate. Okay, the main news that I pay attention to is the refinancing rate, the CPI, FOMOC, and NFP. Those are the four main news that I really like to stay away from. So yeah, that's why I keep saying it. And then on Friday we're going to have NFP. NFP, I don't even open my charts. I just don't trade on the day. I take my day off. So that's why I'm doing this video today, because today is Thursday. So basically my plan for the week was that I was going to trade every day, because I had filtered my calendar so that it doesn't show the very low impact. So I didn't know that it's a bank holiday. So on Monday I was trading. I only figured it out later. I was now doing my end of day markups, and then on Tuesday I was going to trade, but I was going to be very cautious because CPI is very it can be tricky, but then you can see it's not very high impact news. So yeah. And then on Wednesday I was going to trade, but I was going to make sure that my trades are closed by 8:15 New York time, which is around 11 time. So I normally close my trades 15 minutes before the news, and I don't enter any trades 15 minutes after the news. That's with regards to high red news. That's how I deal with it. And then NFP, I don't trade at all. So that's basically it. It's a plan in terms of fundamentals. And then we're gonna go into the charts, and then I'm gonna show you what I did. So yeah, the week started on this day. So for the whole week I was expecting price to trade lower. Why? Because I thought that yes, there's a gap here, a weekly gap here, which I marked on the weekly chart. If you go on your weekly chart, you see where we're expecting price to trade up to. But then I figured price might first take out the sell side liquidity and then start shooting up to this weekly gap. So my bias for the entire week was shorts. Okay. Yes. And then on Monday, I'm just gonna jump straight to Monday, but you'll see the POIs that I marked on everything and each one. Okay. I'm just gonna jump straight to the entry time frame, but that's not what I do when I'm trading. I go to the mid time frame space before I go to the entry time frame. So I think Monday starts. Okay, so on Monday, what happened is I was expecting price to trade above the midnight open and then take out this liquidity before I get an entry. So throughout the London session, I was just waiting for price to come and trade high, but it didn't. And I didn't understand why. But then later when I did my trade recap, I realized that it's a bank holiday. So I also need to note also that if it's a bank holiday, I don't even open my charts. I don't trade at all. So those are two holidays that I don't. Well, the bank holiday and NFP, I don't trade it. So yeah, so that's basically it for Monday. But you can see it reacted as I expected in New York, but not on the fair value gap. I expect it actually traded a bit up to the OB in the entry it came down. And then on Tuesday, I was expecting price to trade lower than the midnight open. I did want it to take out this liquidity first before I take an entry. But when it gave me a fair value gap, I decided to enter. But then took me out of the trade. And also something that I realized is, yes, I should have waited for it to take out the liquidity. And also it gave me two fair value gaps, and it didn't come back immediately to the fair value gap. That should have told me something, that the fair value gap was not going to work. And it went on to break structure again before it came back down. And then it tried to go up, failed, and started going down. So I could already see that price was breaking down, but then I didn't close the limit order, and I was triggered in and triggered out at the same time. So yeah, that's a lesson learned. And then we go on to Wednesday. On Wednesday, I was expecting price to trade above this this midnight open and then take out this H1 buy side liquidity and this buy side liquidity as well. So, but then it did trade higher, but it didn't give me entry. So I did not get an entry. And then, as you can see, what it did during the video, it was just mixing of picture. I think it was setting up for format in the evening. So don't give us anything. And then today I wasn't expecting to take any trades, to be honest. But then it so happened that I had an appointment that I was supposed to go to. So the person I was waiting for took, I think, an extra 30 minutes because I had set up my appointment for 11. So I did everything that I needed to do. So I was waiting for my appointment to start. And then I just got tired of waiting. Then I opened my trading view. So this happened. Then I opened my laptop and took the trade while I waited. And it worked out. Okay, so let me show you how I took the trade. So basically, my bias for today was long. I wanted price to take out this liquidity, and I wanted it to trade lower than the midnight open. So it did all that, and then I wanted it to come into a higher time frame QI, which is the H1. Okay, let me just start from the beginning so that you can understand it better, because this is today's trade. Okay, so for me, for today, I was expecting price to trade lower because I thought that it still needs to come back and take this out, because it failed to take out the buy side liquidity instead. So I went to H1 and I saw that it took out the liquidity from yesterday, all this liquidity. But then I missed this entry to follow. So I was gonna take a counter trend trade when it came to the OB. So this is the H1 OB, and this is some liquidity that it could take out. So I was waiting for a counter trend trade for it to trade it out. But if I hadn't missed, because the reason why I missed the short is, let me explain why I missed the short. I saw it took out this liquidity, right? And then it broke down. I was supposed to take an entry. But the problem is I haven't really back tested a lot when it takes out the H1 liquidity. I haven't back tested a lot on how to take my targets and how to take my entries if I'm taking from H1 liquidity. But I know that it's more powerful than the M15 liquidity, which I've been using. So yeah, it's something that I still need to work on. But anyway, let me just stick to the one that I've back tested. So I decided to stick to the one that I've back tested. But I saw this happening in the morning when I was preparing to go out. But I decided not to take it because I haven't really back tested it enough. And I know that there is news today, so I didn't want to be caught up. Okay. So yeah, so then I saw this. I was expecting it to take out the sell side liquidity in this midnight open according to my strategy, which I've tested. Right. I was going to get a counter trade. And then there's this OB here. Then there's a lot of liquidity here that needed to be taken out. So it took out all this liquidity, as you can see. And then it came and then it broke structure here. So let's go to the entry. Let's just give it a minute. Okay. So it I saw this happening while I was waiting for my appointment meeting. So I just decided, you know what, it ticks all the boxes, I'm just going to take it. Right. So yeah. But then it didn't take one box, which is, it's not within my session, but it's about 30 minutes. So I always say 30 to 45 minutes after the session, it's okay. But before, I don't enter. But after, I can enter. So broke structure here gave us a nice fair value gap and a nice big candle. Then it came back, gave us a lot of chances to enter, and then it took off straight to my exit. And then I had said that it's either I'm gonna wait for a TP or an SL, or I'm going to close at 2 p.m. Which is 8 o'clock, which is this kind of here. So I was gonna close here, but it had already taken out a TP. So that's basically the trade. That was a nice one. It gave us 4.64. So for this week, I lost 1% because I didn't wait for liquidity to be taken out. That was on Tuesday. And then on Thursday, I got 4.64%. I followed my strategy, but then it did happen outside my trading hours. But then I always give myself an allowance for that, so it's not really me breaking the rule so much. It's something that I can take. There are things that I can't break, like the liquidity, the fair value gap, the technical stuff. But when it comes to the time that it happens, I can, give myself some leeway. But I also need to be careful when giving myself some leeway. I need to be mindful of the news. I need to be mindful before the session. I don't even try to enter because it always trips people. So if it's after and it's not that far, I can give myself leeway and enter. So that's my choice for the week. Yeah, that's basically me for the week. So this week we are up about 3.5%, but overall, because of the previous losses from the previous weeks, basically overall we are up 1%. So yeah, so that's it. Cool. That's great.
So as you can see, I ended the week on a positive note, and I'm very excited about that. So let me just start from the beginning. On Monday, it was a bank holiday. I didn't realize that it's a bank holiday. I should have known. And okay, let me start from the very beginning. Okay, so last week we talked about I need to start focusing more, simplifying my strategy, sticking to 2 pairs. We decided that I'm going to stick to EU and the US 30, and I need to simplify it so that I can, focus and all that, right? So on Friday I didn't manage to back test, and then because I was so busy and I even slept very late because I just had a lot of things that I needed to get done. So on Saturday I started back testing during the day, and into the night I was back testing. So I started with the US 30. I was back testing, and then I realized that what, this pair doesn't really move in London. It moves more in New York. So it was so now I have to trade New York and London because I already trade EU. So now I was thinking, should I start trading EU in London and then trade US 30 in New York? And I also still needed to tweak the strategy a bit and all that so that it can work for US 30. So I had a lot going on in my mind and all that, and I was a bit confused on how to tweak it so that it can work for me and all that. So Saturday, it was a frustrating day because I couldn't figure it out. And then on Sunday I did a bit more back testing, and then I realized that no, I don't need to now trade 2 sessions because it's going to be very difficult for me to trade two sessions, because the reason why I trade London already is because that's the time that I have free because of my lifestyle. So if I was gonna be trading 2 sessions, it was gonna be very difficult for me to manage everything that I need to do in a day. So I realized that it's pretty impossible for me to trade New York and London. So I need to figure out a way to only trade London. So then I realized that no, German 30 moves just the same way as US 30, so maybe I can have a look at it and see. And I saw that it actually moves during London, and it actually works with the strategy that I use for EU as well, so I didn't need a lot of tweaking. So I started back testing the German 30, back tested the German 30, back tested. So now I'm starting to feel like, okay, I can trade the German 30 and EU. So now as we always do, I'm checking in with my friend who I always check in with, shout out to you, Ray. And then he's like, now you're talking about the German 30, last week you were talking about the US 30, the week before you were talking about GU. Don't you see that there's a pattern here? And I was very stubborn and I didn't want to listen to him, and he kept on telling me, why don't you just stick to one pair, one session, one setup, and try to be consistent with that first before you move on to something new. I was like to him, for me it's very difficult for me to stick with one pair, because you can see that sometimes some days I don't get a setup for EU, and then some days I might miss the trade, and then I'm gonna be caught up with FOMO. Now I have to chase the trade, so I need another pair so that I can not have FOMO, and I cannot chase trades and fix trades on EU and all that. And then he's like to me, what, if you cannot be patient with EU alone, and if you cannot bring yourself to find consistency with one pair, your chances of succeeding with more than one pair are very slim. Because him, when he got funded about 2 years ago, he was only trading EU, and he was focusing on one session, one pair, one setup, and he would take breaks when he feels like the market is not very conducive. Like this week he doesn't trade NFP week, and there are weeks that it just means I'm not trading because of that. And I'm not there yet, but then he was just telling me, this is how I got myself to this point where I am. Like, I only focused on one pair. Now he trades 3 pairs, but it was like, for me to add a second pay, it took me a year of going through it and learning how it moves and everything. That's USDT, was looking at it last year. And then for me to add Bitcoin, it took me like another 6 months of just, so you're rushing it, slow down. But I didn't want to listen. I was like, we are different. The way you do things is different from the way I do things. So just let me do things the way I want to do things. And then we ended the conversation there where I said I am going to continue trading German 30 in EU. And he said it's against my advice, but go ahead and do what works for you. But then later on, I really sat down and thought about it, and I realized that, you know what, every week I'm coming up with a new pay, every week I'm coming up with a new tweak on the strategy, and it's stressful. It's a lot. I spend like hours sitting at this desk, just back testing, just looking at this pay, and now I have to learn something new. After learning that something new, I'm not gonna use it. And the other reason why I didn't want to like not trade second pay is because I'd spent like 3 days like back testing in the night, not sleeping well, just thinking of what can I do, how can I tweak it, and now when I feel like now I've got the strategy down, someone comes and tells me that why don't you not trade it, just look at and I was like, no man. But then now after thinking about it, then I realized that it's stressful. Even when I'm trading, like in my actual trading session, when I'm trading and I have to flip through 2 pairs, it's stressful for me to process all the information, and then now I have to put a trade there, put a trade there. It's stressful with everything else that I have to manage. Like trading is not the only thing that I do in my life. I've got a lot of other things that I do, but during London is the time when I have a little bit of a quiet time. I still have other things that I'm managing, but then I can at least trade without any interruptions. But then I still need to focus on something else and all that. It's not just like, so it's difficult. Like when I have to add a second pay or a third pay, it's gonna be difficult for me to focus and to actually be able to just put an alert, go do what I need to do and come back and put the entry and all that. So then I realized that, you know what I'm doing is counterproductive. It's not helping me in any way. It's not working. So maybe let me try this. Let me try to stick to one pay. Let me try to just stick to that strategy that I've tested already on EU, not tweak it at all. Give it a month. Let me just trade it for a month and see how it works out, and see if it gives me, positive results. And then if I need to tweak it, at least now if I'm focusing more on it, then at least it will be easier for me to see where I need to fix and all that. Because what was also making me move a bit slower was that when I'm adding GU, now my focus is on GU. Now I don't even see the mistakes that I made with EU, and I'm still making mistakes with GU because I still don't know how this thing moves. It's got, every pair has its own signature, its own way of moving and everything. So sometimes if you really understand a pair, you get to a point where you know that if it does this, it's gonna do this next and all that. So I decided, let me just calm myself, let me be patient, let me get away from this FOMO and wanting to always be in a trade. Because the other thing that I was doing is I would back test, and then I would like put when I'm back testing, I'd say, okay, so this week I'll get maybe 4% on EU if I just stick to this, so I need another pair so that I can get 10% and all that and all that. So being too focused again on what I can make, I need to just focus on the process. And come to think of it, making 5% a week is actually a lot. In a month, if you can make 5%, it's a lot. Because if you are managing like a $200,000 account and you make 5% on the account, that's a lot of money. That's a whole lot of money. So there's no need for you to be focused on the outcome, focus on, I need to make 10% this month, I need to make like 20% the whole month. You don't need to do that. You just need to process on to perfect your process and to get to a point where your trading is not stressful for you. You're just trading. You're not stressed. it's something that you're doing with ease, because that's the whole point why we got into this in the first place, to have financial freedom and to have the freedom of time and all that. Yeah, so it's not worth it for you to always be stressed, to always be, you know. So yeah, so I decided I'm going to stick to EU, I'm going to stick to trading it at London, and I am going to stick to my setup. Of course, I've got another setup that I'm working on, but that's me. I don't listen. So I've got another setup, but it's pretty much the same setup, but then it's just that now I'll be using liquidity from H1, not M15. So it's pretty much the same setup, but then I need to know that if price takes out H1 liquidity, where do I take my targets? Do I take my entries on M5 or do I take my entries on M15? Because now the strategy that I tested is, if it takes out liquidity on M15, I take my entries on M5 and I take my targets on M5 using my fib. So I just need to make sure that I can use the same strategy even if it takes liquidity on H1. So that's basically something that I'm going to be looking at with time, but for now I'm going to be focusing on that one strategy which I tested. So yeah, so that's how I ended up only trading one pair this week. It was very difficult, but as you can see, it gave me positive results, and also it was less stressful. Now I get to sleep a lot earlier. Now I don't need to be stressed like all the time trying to figure out which pair do I add, which setup do I add, what do I tweak, what do I do. No, it's a bit and then when I'm trading London as well, when I'm trading like now, because I got to a point where I'm now just focusing on one pair and I kind of understand my setup more, there are times where I don't even need to sit at the charts the whole time. I just need to know that, okay, I need price to get to this point. If it gets to this point, then I'm going to be looking for an entry, and if it doesn't, I'm not looking for an entry. So what I do is I just place my alerts. If it doesn't get there, I don't get an alert and I continue my day as usual. So, and I've also now incorporated something new where I'm not going to be looking at my profit and loss as I'm in a trade. I'm just going to put an alert on my stop loss, an alert on my take profit, and maybe put an alarm if there's news that I need to be aware of, so that I can close the trade if it hasn't closed yet. So so I'm not going to be micromanaging my trades. So it's a lot less stressful. It's a lot easier to trade when you're trading that way. So yeah, so that's what I've done this week. So on Monday I didn't get any trades because it was a bank holiday and I shouldn't be trading the bank holiday. And then on Tuesday I did get a trade, but then I sort of didn't wait for it to take out my M15 liquidity, and then it took me out, which was a mistake on my part. And yeah, it was an honest mistake. It was nothing to do with FOMO or anything. It was just an honest mistake, because I thought that since it had taken out liquidity before, it doesn't need to take out the very prior liquidity, but I learned that it needs to really take out the liquidity that is there at that moment. So that's something that I learned. And then on Wednesday I didn't get any trades. Price didn't go where I thought it's supposed to go. It did give a setup, but it didn't give any setup, because that was FOMO and it was just a messy price action. And then on Thursday, I did get a setup. I got a nice trade, but then it came after my session, but I took it anyway, and I think I explained what happened for me to take it. So basically, if it ticks all my boxes, like on the technical side, but it's outside my trading session with 30 minutes or just below an hour, I can take the trade. It's fine. As long as everything else has been satisfied, then it's fine. I can take that trade, but I need to make sure that before the red news, I'm out of the trade. So yeah, so that's basically what I've done. And that's basically my week. So I had a positive week. It was really nice. So my takeaway for this week is, you need to stick to one pair, guys. if you've been struggling to become consistent, just stick to one pace, stick to one session, stick to one entry, and you'll see how you become more consistent, and you it's less stressful. To be honest, it's less stressful. And now I kind of now am starting to do like to do more quality analysis on EU, because I don't have so many things to think about. So now I'm starting to understand my setup even more. So it's becoming easier for me, and I'm starting to find ways to make it easier for me, because now I can make use of alerts. I can just put an alert. If price gets to this point, then I'm gonna enter. If it doesn't for today, I'm not entering. That's it. So yeah, it's been very good for me to stick to one pair in one session. But I was actually thinking about maybe I should also trade New York, because sometimes I don't get a setup during London. Then I stopped myself, because it's practically impossible for me to trade New York, because I also have other obligations that I need to take care of. So yeah, so the plan going forward is for the month of May, I just want to stick to this plan that I've made now and see how it works out for me. So I'm going to be updating you guys. So we started trading a $1,000 account, right? So right now it's at plus 1%. This week I gained 3%, but then it's not at plus 3% because I had losses previous weeks. So now we at 1% growth of the account, but then this week we had 3% win, which is very good, and I'm very excited about that. So yeah, so now we are at 1%. So what I want to do is, the other thing that was stopping me from also just sticking to one pair is because I thought I want to go for a funded account. So I was thinking I need to raise money using this $1,000 account to go for the funded account. So I wanted to go for at least a 50,000 or more. So for me to get to raise that money that is needed for a $50,000 account, it's about 300. I need to at least get 6%. So if I'm going to be getting like those 2% trades, and I'm only getting 2 setups in a week, when will I get there? And sometimes I get losses. When will I get to the $50,000 account? But then this is what I've decided. I'm going to trade for the month of May. If we finish the month of May in a positive, we are just going to take that amount of money that is the profit for the month, and then we're going to purchase a challenge that that we can purchase with whatever money that we've got. If we've got $50, we're going to get a $5,000 account. If we've got whatever, I don't have them on the top of my fingers, but yeah, that's basically what I'm saying. If it's enough for a $25,000, we are doing that. If it's enough for a $10,000, we are doing that. I'm not gonna like aim too high. I'm just going to say whatever it is that I get, then I can start from there. When I get the challenge, if I do pass it, if I get to profit, then I can increase my funding as we go. So that's what I'm doing. So that's what I've decided to do, and I've decided to share that journey with you guys. So this month I am going to be trading my live account, which is now at 1,009 point something, basically $1,010. So we are going to trade it, and then at the end of the month we're going to see how much profit we have. And then if we see how much profit we have, then we're going to purchase a funded account, and then we are going to also go through that challenge together. So this month what I'm going to do is, from next week I'm not going to do this long sit down. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be updating you Monday. If I take a trade, I'll just do a trade recap and post it. Tuesday, if I don't, I'll still do a trade recap for you guys. And then when we get to Friday, I've done all my trade recaps, and then now I can just do a sit down video to just talk to you guys on how I was feeling, how everything went, and everything. And as we are going, we are seeing if the account is growing or if it's not. And if we get to the end of the month and the account is grown, now we are going for a funded account. If we get to the end of the month and the account has not grown, we are going to continue doing what we're doing, or we are going to figure out a way to re-strategize together. So that's basically what we are doing now. So yeah, so that's my plan. So I'd like you guys to join me on that plan, so you can subscribe to my channel so that you can see as I'm going, as I'm posting, and I'll also be posting my trades as I'm taking them on my Instagram. But then I won't be posting like the chart. I'll just be posting an intraday, I exited here, I got this profit on my Instagram, because I don't have time to really like keep up with all the, but I'll show you how I entered in the whole chart and everything on my YouTube. So if you want to keep up with me, and also you can also follow me on Instagram, and you can also subscribe to my YouTube so that you can keep up with my journey. So that's basically it. We are going to be trading a live account so that we can raise money for a funded account. So yeah, and I'm not going to be risking too much and trying to do fancy things and anything like that. I want to trade it the same way I would trade a funded account, so that it's also practice for me, so that if I do get a funded account, I've already practiced on how to go about it. So I'm not going to be doing anything fancy. So if it doesn't work out, then it means I need to keep practicing more so that I can get to the funded status. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, so if it doesn't work out, if it works out, if it doesn't work out, it's just telling me that you need to practice a bit more. If it does work out, it's telling me that it's time to get an account. So yeah, so that's it. So that's my week, that's the plan, that's it. Thank you to everyone who sticked around to the end of this video. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. So guys, stay focused, trust your edge, just you know, do the best that you can. If you do make mistakes, forgive yourself and move on, and continue moving, and we'll get there. Trust me, we will get there. So yeah, that's it for the week. So yeah, enjoy your weekend, and God bless you guys.